is In the Shadows Podcast. Lots of cigar talk, but if it's going on in the world, we'll be talking about that too. And by the way, the fellas don't shy away from controversial topics. Trust me. So grab that stick, kick back with your favorite drink, and let's do the thing. This is the In the Shadows Podcast. Now your hosts, Tony the Soy Sauce Assassin.
Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Shadow Smokes Legion in the Shadow Podcast. I'm your host, Tony the Soy Sauce Assassin, and today we're joined by Eric, smoke one if you have one, and Rick, St. Bobby Rick.
Yo.
Tried to be famous, not yet famous, could be famous, and almost there. So,
Oh no!
if I'm
At
taking
this
a
point, I don't
pause,
know.
it's because I'm taking a sip, a puff of coffee or cigar. So that's that one of those that kind of day today. Okay, all right. So today I want to put everybody to the test to talk about this. Do you know your regions of cigars? Okay, so let's go down the list and pretty much go talk about each characteristic of the cigars, because I think that's something people don't pay attention, yet we pay attention. Like when you buy a cigar, first thing you see is where this leaf came from, you know, binder, filler, and all that stuff. But I think majority of people are just like, oh, I like Dominican cigars and that's it. Well, I like Nicaraguan, that's it. But the characteristic was not really defined. And I think us as smokers that smoke a variety of cigars can try to tell what we think the individual region's characteristic is. I think that will help some people. Like next time, it's like, you know, that's the flavor I'm looking for. I don't know why I'm keeping looking that cigar when I'm looking for a cigar that has that characteristic, but I never go to it.
Okay.
Damn, man. I'm about to be a noob.
Yeah, right, right.
That's
how I'm gonna get you in trouble.
Yeah,
Shit.
my arms across, just like, well, I'm gonna get roasted in the comments.
Right.
This
So,
is gonna
I-
be fun. Oh shit.
So let's go start with the roots of our cigars, Cuba. Cuban cigars. Go ahead. Who want to go first? Talk about the characteristic they think that Cuban cigar has.
Me,
Oh, Rick.
me,
All right,
me,
all right,
sir.
right. Go ahead.
As a person that part of their blood dwells in that region of island in the Caribbean Sea, typically when you go for a Cuban cigar, you hear most of the characteristics stemming from like floral or bouquet. Hopefully I'm correct. If not, then I'm gonna go swim back home.
No, that is correct. I mean, Cuban cigar has this earthy, grassy, and floral note that's very strong towards like that specific taste. There's no mistake with it. When you smoke a Cuban cigar, you're gonna taste that note that is floral, that is grassy, hay, and earthy for a Cuban cigar. And when I say the grassy, hay, earthy cigar note, Cuba has their own category for that taste.
yeah,
There
it's
is
not,
no
it's not
other
what you
cigar
think
that
it is. Yeah, it's not what you think when we say grassy hay or anything like that. Earthy. It's not like something that you would get from like a San Andreas.
Yeah, you're not. It's not the same one. It's
Yeah, it's highly
what we
specific.
describe as, but it's not the same one. So that Cuban cigar is that. It's that simple. They have their own notes, and no other cigar can copy it.
Yep.
Right?
It's-
I think that's the best way to describe it.
Yeah, it's very Pacific. To me, I call it sweet vanilla hay with a little of like dab of honey here and there, maybe a little earth. But it's mostly the floral is not like a really like a bouquet, like hit your face floral kind of thing. But it's like a nice, sweeter, gentle tone of floral.
It's not gonna hurt you kind of flavor. So it's a very nice. You can smell. Oh, once you smell a Cuban cigar, you know it's a Cuban cigar.
Yeah,
And you'll
you-
know that forever.
Yeah, you're like, damn, all right, so that's what it is.
All right. So although interesting, but at the same time, like once you know it, it's that. Like all Cuban cigar is like that. That's the characteristic. The end.
Well, yeah,
Cuban
it's
cigar.
it's a Puro.
Yeah,
that's
and
what
that's all Cuban cigar. That's
Yeah.
all Cuban cigars, right? So we want to put it out there. This is why we say that, you know, Cuban cigar, try it once, call it a day kind of thing, because they all got to taste pretty much the same, strong or less. That's, you know, all the same notes, right? So the next one is got to be easy one, Dominican Republic cigars. Eric, you want to go with that?
Yeah, sure. I go with that. I like Dominican is more smooth, more woodsy creaminess to me. They Dominican to me fall into like almost a Connecticut shade, like almost there, but it's not. It's a smoother. They have a little bit of spice. Sometimes it's overwhelming with floral, but sometimes it doesn't. Most of the time it doesn't. And that's how I look
Dominican
at it.
cigars are usually a little bit of, I would call that a base note.
Yeah.
Anything pretty much goes well with some sort of Dominican filler of some sort.
Yep.
And if you get a Dominican Puro, you're gonna get a smooth,
Creamy.
cedar, creamy kind of taste. It does a very good job taking the aroma around, but individually, I don't think it stands out that much.
No.
Like when you think of Dominican cigar, it's not that crazy cigars.
I tell you, Davidoff do a really good job of Dominican Puros. They have, even with Dominican Puro, they have their own distinct floralness to it. Like a distinct sweet note. I like that about the Davidoff. Like if you, I know a lot of people don't smoke a lot of Davidoff, but when you do, you could tell the difference. There's like a signature of Davidoff.
Mm-hmm. Right. So basically, signature is basically gonna be Davidoff or Fuentes. Davidoff or Fuentes.
Yeah, Fuente does it well too. Yep.
Yeah. If you want to know all about Dominican cigars, Fuente and Davidoff's somewhere on the top for sure.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I don't think anybody could top them actually in Dominican tobacco. Yep. Those two are the giant for Dominican.
For me, I would say like Dominicans are like base of like I call them dessert cigars. The cigars that has like the chocolate or espresso. I call them like they're the base. Obviously, you combine other stuff to make it more impactful with that chocolate and espresso notes. But typically, cigars that will have that note that I like has components of Dominican tobacco. So I see them as like more like if you're making a cake, they're like the eggs or like the flour, not the whole thing, but they're just a good base to a lot of these cigars.
Mm-hmm. So let's go to the extreme side. Well, actually, no, let's go to something similar then. Let's go to something similar. Cameroon. I think a lot of people don't know about Cameroon.
Well, because I don't think there's not like a lot of cigar that's made out of Cameroon.
Mm-hmm. Well, number one, Cameroon is expensive, so.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But I think it's like not all Cameroon are equal as well, in my opinion. Some Cameroon is very bad, in my opinion, when they get too earthy.
Okay, so let's talk about the Cameroon characteristic, right? So, Eric, what do you think the characteristic of a Cameroon cigar is?
It's like lightly spicy and a little bit more earthy, leathery, but this lighter tone down with it. And sometimes it's a sweeter one. If you get a really good quality Cameroon, it's a sweeter note to it. Okay. But other than that, that's it.
Other than that?
No.
No? Okay. Rick, what about you?
I haven't had much experience with Cameroons, and the ones I've had, I could kind of agree with Eric, where it's like light. It's almost like maybe kind of in the realm of like Connecticut when it comes to like the lightness, but has a little bit of more earthiness to it. But like I said, Cameroon's not that something I get often, or not many shops by me have Cameroon stuff.
Okay,
so
let me describe how I think Cameroon is, and this might shock you. I think Cameroon is like MSG. It doesn't really have its own taste, but it makes everything taste better.
It's an amplifier.
Well, yeah, that's why they use it as a wrapper. It's like a sprinkle, right? The rest is like binder and filler.
Cameroon like Puro.
Yeah. I think they do have it though.
They try to make it, but that's the thing, right? So it does have a little bit earthiness to it. But I think that's basically it. That cigar, the tobacco, it doesn't have its own thing. It's very delicate, kind of too.
Yeah, it is.
And I think what it does is just the aroma that gives off just makes everything else taste better, not necessarily have its own taste.
It's the eggs of the batter. Eggs are delicate.
It makes everything oilier. It makes everything just more. So, can we agree with that? Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good punchy wrapper.
Yeah. Like I said, it looks like MSG, umami. It just makes it a little bit more, right?
I agree.
And I think that's why sometimes when people want to showcase a punchier cigar, punchier flavor with their binder or filler, they use that. They use that to kind of enhance that flavor.
They could use like a lighter binder or like a Worcester filler, but then the Cameroon wrapper would enhance that, right?
Yeah. Okay. So let's go to something that probably a lot of people know a lot about. which is the Nicaraguan tobaccos. Nicaraguan tobacco, everybody knows. So, Rick, you want to start with that? I think you can say a lot about that.
Oh my god, where do I start? Spice. You have. It's almost like endless sometimes with like Nicaraguan, depending on like how you mix them together. They're a very great binding, amplifying. They're basically, to me, they could be one of anything. They have like multiple usage. They could make a great binder. They can make a great filler. They can make a great wrapper. They have their own specific thing as well, but it's so complex in my brain because it's like there's so much things you could do with a Nicaraguan, anything. So it's kind of hard to like narrow down what they do because they basically do all.
I think Nicaraguan is one of the punchier stuff. Basically, it's the darker, flavorful wrapper that we have. Well, you can use it as filler. It's spicy. It's strong. It's got a lot of flavor. At times, it's earthy. At the time, because they grown tend to be from a volcanic area and stuff like that. So they tend to have that mineral, earthy. At times, it has saltiness. At times, it has sweetness. And it just makes everything darker. It has a charred taste to it too. And the thing that showcased the best Nicaragua, I don't like it, but Padron makes the best Nicaraguan tobacco.
Oh, no doubt, man. Because the way that they showcase that, it have chocolate, it have cedar, it have dark wood, have char, it have spice. That signature retrohale on a Nicaraguan Puro, boy, you know that's a Nicaraguan. When you retrohale that, you're like, damn, that's a blast, boys.
Yeah. It's the way they showcased it is really good, and this is why the top tier cigars, right? Padrones, Plasencia, they use Nicaraguan because punchy, right? You gotta get medium strength or higher. You gotta get a lot of flavor all over the place. You can light up first note, taste it, it's right there, right?
Yep.
So Nicaraguans are often used for that reason. There's no question, right? Let's go to the next one. It's gotta be Mexican San Andreas. Well, Mexican Sangro, however you want it. It's Mexican tobacco. Do we know a lot about that?
Just almost every cigar that made, but with that now.
The thing is that recently we use a lot of those. So there is a lot to talk about that tobacco, right? The tobacco has got a lot of big flavor, right? And it tends to be the after notes, the coffee note, the spice, the chocolate, the pepper, a little bit of, I would say,
dankiness, mustiness.
The mustiness, the earthy, mustiness, almost mushroom-ish taste to it, the way they ferment it. That's what makes it a good combination, because right now, those notes hits the senses the same way a Nicaraguan tobacco will have.
Yep. Or sometimes it amplified it.
Right.
Tell the truth, right?
So it's a good combination. It's dark. It's there. I don't think it's a good combination if you want to do Mexican and Dominican, and it's you have to put without a dark.
Yeah, the Mexican would overtake the Dominican no matter what.
Right. The Dominican would taste like nothing. It would just be fine. So,
and the thing is, like San Andreas, they wasn't good at using it before.
Yeah, because they don't know how to ferment it correctly, right?
Yeah.
And now they ferment it, they age it. Combination with the broadleaf, which we'll talk about later, it's perfect right now.
Yeah, right now they know how to use it really well.
There's too many of those right now.
So. What do you mean too many? It's everything.
That's why it's too many. All right, talk about Ecuadorian tobacco.
Well, Ecuadorian could be a Connecticut, so it could be creamy, or it could be just an Ecuadorian Maduro, which could be a little bit more darker notes, woodier notes, earthier notes. But Ecuadorian, to me, it don't have that nice sweetness.
Okay.
That's just me, though.
What about Rick? What do you think?
I mean, I agree. It has a creamy aspect to it. Darker the leaf, then it starts to go on its own little territory where sometimes it could work, sometimes it doesn't. But when you do it, the whole lighter side of it, then yeah, it's creamy. That's like one of the main ones I get, almost like Connecticut.
Yeah, Ecuadorian Connecticut is the most grown Connecticut right now.
I want to say Ecuadorian tobacco are the cheap man's Cuban.
Oh, no, really?
Yeah, it doesn't taste like Cuban.
Yeah.
It's got that subtleness. It's got that elegantness to it. It's a lot softer.
It is.
To all the other tobacco.
All right,
So
you know
when
what,
you put a punchier
yeah.
flavor and you put that Ecuadorian, you add a little bit of that also mineral and earthiness towards the tobacco.
Yeah,
I think that's why they use the Ecuadorian tobacco. The Ecuadorian tobacco itself does not shine.
no, you smoke an Ecuadorian Puro, man. I'm sorry. You ain't it's not gonna be that enjoyable for you, because to me it's just very tone
Mellow.
earth, and it's just chill.
But it's
Mellow.
not that. It's similar to like Cuban, like all it gets is woodsiness and earthiness.
Yeah.
and it's got like a really like elegant tone to it. I don't know how to describe it. So you're gonna see a lot of easygoing, soft serve cigars. That's Ecuadorian, right? I think we can go with that. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that's why I say it's a poor man's Cuban, because it's got that elegantness, but it's a lot cheaper.
It's so
Doesn't taste
much.
like I said in the beginning, right? Nothing's gonna taste like Cuban, but you can get that feeling of it.
Yeah, it can be used for anybody. So depending whatever occasion, it could. Yeah, it's not extreme. So it's mild, mellow.
But yeah, it's got a little bit of that earthiness, the mineral,
Yeah. I don't know.
and I think sometimes it goes really well with a Nicaraguan filler. So it really depends.
They use that as a binder and then the Nicaraguan filler.
Yeah,
It'd be
yeah.
nice.
Okay, the next one, Honduras tobacco.
Sweet wood, baby. Sweet wood. Sweet cedar. Sweet shit. Just like it's a nice tobacco, man. You use that thing as like a binder or filler. Oh boy, you can taste that. But sometimes it died out. Sometimes
It's kind of weird because I think Honduras Puro don't shine at all for me.
at all. It when you get like a Honduras Puro, it turns to shit. I don't know. I smoke a lot of Honduras Puro, and I was like, boy, they need something else to make it, because if you mix it with like a Nicaraguan or something like that, you get the pepper and you get the nice sweet wood cedar, kind of earthy, leathery kind of thing. But it's a sweeter one, and I love the combination with the spice, right, with the strength.
I think Honduras tobacco enhances any wood notes for any cigar, but on its own, it's not good.
Yeah, on its own is so bad.
For some reason, when I smoke a Honduras Puro, I don't get the sweetness that I like.
No, it's gone, dude.
Right. But if I smoke it as a filler, binder, or wrapper that has something else to it, you're gonna get that sweet.
Yeah, that signature
cedar.
nice sweet note. But man, when you get a Puro, you're like, what happened? You're like,
Yeah. And keep in mind, not a lot of company uses Honduras. I
No.
only know like Davidoff use Honduras, Camacho Honduras, and the rest is really here and there. There's not a lot of those for some reason. And yeah, don't go to Honduras buy the Puro. They don't taste good.
no, don't. Freaking Tony sent me a bunch of those cigars. I haven't hit anything yet, so.
Yeah, it's not worth it. It's not worth it. The next one is Indonesian tobacco. So Sumatra.
Spicy earth. That's to me. That's spicy earth.
Spicy? Okay.
A little bit leathery.
There is a good intense notes of pepper and spice for that particular tobacco. That's true. And a lot of the Indonesian Sumatra is grown somewhere else now. It's actually not growing in Indonesia.
Yeah, that's why they call it Sumatra now.
They just call it Sumatra. Now
Yeah.
it's growing in Honduras or Ecuador.
Yep.
So that tones down it even more. And I don't know, the peppery notes are not as good.
It's not pronounced. Yeah.
And keep in mind, like the Indonesian Sumatra is the same thing as Cameroon. It's just grown in different places.
Yeah, pretty much. But
It's the same
but to me, when it was still grown in Indonesia, it was a punchier wrapper or punchier tobacco.
Right,
But
right.
after they
Because the
moved,
weather.
yeah, after they moved, it mellowed down a lot with that.
Yeah,
But, you know-
I remember Sumatra used to be like, everybody's looking for Sumatra.
Oh,
And
yeah.
Sumatra's still good. I'm not saying that Sumatra is not good, but it does not have the same characteristic it was before, I think.
Yeah.
Right. And before, like, it's, if you see a Sumatra, you see a Cameroon, that's a good cigar.
Oh, that's a great cigar. That would be you'll be
nowadays you're
enjoying
like,
it.
oh, okay, all right, it's Cameroon, it's gotta be more expensive. Sumatra, it's gotta be more expensive. Right? Like, right? That's pretty much what it is right now. I hope that they. I don't know. I don't know if it's a cost or whatnot. I don't know why they changed.
Well,
ways.
importing and all that. So
Yeah, but in the past, what I remember is that any of the Sumatra has a punchier, more spice, more flavorful, burn sensation, right? So you get that with the Indonesian.
Yeah, but then now you get the regular. So you just get so much of that. It kind of died on its own, you know.
Yeah. All right. So the next one is United States.
So
United
Connecticut.
States.
Connecticut or Florida could be part of that.
Pennsylvania.
Yeah, you get the Florida Sungrown. You get the Connecticut. You get the broadleaf. They're all United States. So, like, what would you think that the
Pennsylvania.
United States characteristic is?
Very punchy. It's more punchy, but it's a smooth punch to me. It's like it's punch, but it's not like, oh my god, it's not like a nigger round that it's my nostril or my belly, like it's punchy, but it's not to that kind of level. And it does have like a sweet tone to it as well. Like it's like the Connecticut broadleaf and the Pennsylvania broadleaf to me is like a chocolate heaven sometime.
It needs some help, right? And that's why they combine with the Mexican San Andreas a lot of the time, because the way that's grown. I mean, they're growing in a place that has a lot of sunlight, but it doesn't. It tend to not be as oily as obviously Cameroon or some of the Nicaraguans. It has its own almost semi eggshell shine.
I would say
necessarily oily.
Yeah. They're pretty ugly.
Yes.
They're not the prettiest wrapper, but it does have sometimes, if you get like a nice toothy one or there's oily sheen to it, it's good. But most of the time it's very patchy looking, like,
It looks like the color looks like a premium chocolate.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, because American were fat.
Oh, okay.
I mean, technically speaking, because Hershey also is in Pennsylvania. You get the Hershey, Pennsylvania. So,
but that thing is just veiny and bumpy.
Yeah, it's not. Dude, talking about veiny and bumpy, Padron have some of the ugliest cigar ever.
Right. But the Padron don't care. They don't really go through that. Like, it's just the way the broadleaf is. It's big. The vein is just big. So when they remove the biggest vein, all the other veins are still large.
It's large, right? Dude. It's like, seriously, you ever see never mind. I don't want to say it.
Right.
It looks like a Snicker bar.
Kinda.
Yes.
Yeah. Try to keep it PG.
Right? It's one of those, and it's got a lot of flavor. That thing has a lot of flavor.
Oh man,
it used to be tobacco that they throw it away. Broadleaf used to be tobacco.
Yeah,
they throw away.
They never liked it because it's okay. Or they use it for a lot for like the filler, but then now they come to like, oh, it's actually a punchy.
They're like, okay, let's put the Mexican San Andreas. No one's gonna care how it looks because it tastes good.
Yep. Man, because sometimes they look like messed up marble and on like light brown, dark brown. It looked like crap.
Some companies start to make it look better. For example, the Camacho broadleaf that doesn't look too bad.
Yeah, that's the Camacho broadleaf actually look good.
Yeah, they look good. So now they pick the side that they want to use. It doesn't look nearly as bad. It doesn't look like a basketball player on steroid, okay?
Yeah. But yeah, they are getting better and better at that, at presentation of that tobacco, right?
Yeah, and they start to kind of figure it out. And that's pretty much all the tobacco we have. And obviously a different shade or a different where the tobacco from that tobacco tree that they're using, or bush or weed, whatever you want to call it, because technically tobacco is weed.
Is it?
Right?
Is it a tree or is it weed?
It's weed.
It probably is a weed, isn't it?
You're smoking weed.
No. It's actually characteristic as weed. It's got large leaves and then vein and everything. So it's considered as weed. But that's what they pick up, and it's really interesting that how simple leaf can kind of remind you a different flavor from different region.
Yeah. And I'm surprised. I'm surprised that a different section of the plant could change the profile so much, right?
True.
Like, even the same plant, like the Ligero will sit up top, and that thing is, boy.
But if you think about it this way, okay, a broccoli. You know how many different broccoli a different vegetable came from the same broccoli tree? what the plant.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Like they all look different and they all taste slightly different, but it's from the same plant.
Well, think about types of red meats, as in like things that come from a cow. You have the sirloin, you have the flank, you have all these different things, and they all have like different properties and flavors, or even like tenderness to it. They're all from the same cow, but there's different aspects you can get from a cow.
I don't know.
I hate to tell you, like
it tastes like steak to me.
I don't care what animal it is. When you bite them on the boob and bite them on the ass, they don't taste the same. Yeah.
That's oh my god, it's so fatty in the boob and the ass. It's like try to bite a horse on the boob and then try to bite a horse on the ass. If you don't die after that, but I'm pretty sure that tastes different. You'd be dead.
You'll be dead.
The horse will hit you.
Especially at the ass, man. You go into danger territory.
You bite a horse on the ass, you'll feel how Mike Tyson's punch feels like right away.
I think that's way harder than Mike Tyson punching.
Next closest thing.
Man, horse is no joke with their kicks, man.
Fine. Try cows. I don't think you want to get kicked by cows either. So
no. I tried to tip a cow.
Yeah, cows cannot kick sideways. So
yeah,
true.
But now that we talked about so many of different rappers, right? What is your how about combinations? Like what you think about different combinations? Like, what's your favorite combination? What's your least favorite combination?
My least favorite is under Imperial.
No, that's not a combination. Pure is not a combination.
Oh, they call it a combination, though. I'm calling it out. Don't do that, boys. Don't do that. But I think my least favorite is when a Connecticut tried to be more punchy.
Yeah, that's what when they tried. Like recently, they tried to do a lot of different things to make.
Yeah, they're trying to bring Connecticut back, but Connecticut should be smooth, should be creamy, should be a morning cigar with a cup of nice, like latte or something like that, right?
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. Like don't try to make something that's not it.
Yeah.
Like don't try to make vegetable that tastes like beef.
I mean,
vegans.
They do that. We're talking to you guys.
Right? Just go with the real thing, right? Like, I don't see why you have to make a Connecticut different rather than making something that tastes good already, maybe less strength.
Yeah, it's like, it's funny that when they put a Connecticut, but you have Nicaraguan Maduro for the binder and then the Nicaraguan filler, then what are you getting? What are you smoking?
Right? You get this overwhelming different flavor and you lost the characteristic of Connecticut.
Yeah, well, like when you pick up Connecticut, right, usually you just, I'm going to chill for the, talk to my boys or drink coffee and just enjoy the sunshine or something like that. But then you smoke that, you're like, what the hell is this?
Right? Yeah. I smoke a few. I know, even the knuckle sandwich, Connecticut.
Yeah, you tried that.
It was like, what did you do? A Connecticut that doesn't taste like Connecticut. If I'm a new smoker and I just want something that's normal, and I go smoke a regular Connecticut, let's say, I don't know, Oliva or something like that, and then I go smoke a knuckle sandwich, I'm gonna think I'm crazy.
You're like, what? Like, am I retarded or am I not retarded?
Which one is Connecticut? Those two taste so different. Which one is? And then I would just go off and go, you know what? I'm going to smoke an Ashton, Connecticut.
It's a whole different thing.
Okay. It's like, what's going on? It kind of goes close to other Connecticut, but that one's so different. Is that really Connecticut? Don't do that. Don't do that, right? Connecticut is meant to either be the first cigar, last cigar, or beginner cigar.
Or you could toss that thing in between kind of thing,
Right. I mean, you could, but, if you're smoking something as a between cigar, you probably want something that's what we call natural. Not necessarily Connecticut, but more natural.
Say,
I mean, you do have talks where people say that Connecticut's, quote unquote, are supposed to be the last cigar you smoke because they have less nicotine in it. They're more smoother and...
No, the way I use Connecticut...
Right?
It's a cool down.
The way I use Connecticut, if I plan on smoking multiple cigar, I smoke it as my first cigar, so I could get all the creaminess, all that in. And then I go to a punchier, darker cigar, so I could still taste that cigar without tampering my palate too much.
And I want to kind of mention that now that I brought up the definite the word natural. Natural is not a region. Natural it just means it's one of those tobacco that just really don't have much characteristic other than woodiness, cederness, and just that.
It's
right?
just
you
basically
can have natural in any region.
It's like your old antique furniture wood. That's what it is. But that's what natural wood is in the natural.
Some people
tobacco.
get confused between Connecticut and a natural because
they do. They do.
Natural has the Connecticut shade looking, but they're not always, the region of Connecticut. It's not U.S. Connecticut, it's not Ecuadorian Connecticut.
I say the natural, to me, it have a slight shade different from a Connecticut, like a little darker.
A little bit darker.
A little bit darker.
It's right under a Habano.
Yes,
right?
Mm-hmm. Yes, I would say that.
Under Habano. But Dominican have their own naturals. U.S. have their own naturals. It's natural is more like a shade rather than a region. Because once you talk about people do mistake sometimes when somebody say Oscuro. Oscuro is a color.
A natural is basically a Connecticut cigar that went to the beach and got a tan.
Yeah, you can say that. Yeah.
Right? We want to kind of put it out there. When you say Maduro, when you say Oscuro, those are shade. Right?
Yes.
And when you Habano is kind of different. Habano is a type of it's like saying Habano, Lejero. There's another category.
But the Habano have a reddish hue to them, in my opinion. Right? They do have like a
Habano is the spicier. Leaf of overall. It's got the color between a brown and red and like almost close to. I wouldn't want to say poop color. It's not there. But
no, it's not there yet. It's like what I would say if
maroon, so it's not as dark as maroon, but it's brown.
Yeah, I would say if you take a shit and you took a shit and you ate a lot of sriracha, that's probably like what it looked like.
Think of it as a nice cup of latte. Take away the cream on top.
Yes. Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the darkness of the espresso with a little bit of cream on it, that's what the color looks like. It's like a coffee color, but lighter. It has a little bit of hue of red to it.
Yep.
Right?
I would say the hue of red make it interesting looking.
And there's also another color we call it rosado, which is kind of hue of red too. It's actually more close to the Connecticut, but more hue of red.
Yeah.
Right? So those are the colors. They're not regions. So we have the regions. We have type of the leaf, which part of the tobacco came from. And then we have the amount of fermenting to the color. Right?
Yep.
And that's all separate categories. And I think we sometimes interuse them by accident.
Well, because of cigar company nowadays, they're like, Oscuro or, Maduro. And I was like, so it's just a Maduro or is it a Oscuro?
Right.
I think we interuse it because of cigar company trying to put the name of it in, the shade of the color inside of it. And they're like, oh, it's a Oscuro,
Well, they try to give you the information, right? So if you understand what we are giving you, the information that we are giving you, obviously it's our personal opinions, right? But the information we give you, you can use that to judge whether or not that tobacco is what you're looking for. Like, if somebody says Ecuadorian Habano, okay, I know it's Ecuadorian. I know what it is. I know what they're talking about Habano. It's got to be spicy.
Yep.
Right?
It's going to have a punch.
It's not necessarily, and then, it's got like an Ecuadorian Habano Oscuro. Okay. All right. That's a game mouthful.
That's a little much,
Right. But that's what it is. It's dark color, Habano leaf, spicy from Ecuador.
Yep.
Right. And then you can judge from that. Right. I don't think I ever got to see a, you will.
What was you about to say anyway, bro? I want to hear.
I was gonna say a light color broad leaf, but we do have Connecticut.
Yeah,
we
got kind of.
Yeah, from that information you can tell, and also obviously the darkness will tell you kind of how long they fermented.
Yeah, the
more you
ferment
it, the more stuff they put on it, it's gonna get darker.
Yeah,
right.
The more ripe it is,
the leaf is too. So those affect the level of taste that you're gonna get. Also, the amount of nicotine, right? But if you think about that, just the simple word. If you don't want nicotine, look for anything that doesn't have words that you can read.
Hey man, Davidoff used a lot of those. I can't pronounce half of this shit, dude.
The moment you have words that you can read is at least medium.
Yep, you got that right.
Right, and then at the moment that you see the word lejero is medium plus.
That's sometimes plus, man. Depend how much lejero they put in there.
I'm talking about the minimum. Like if the word you see lejero somewhere, okay, that's a medium plus, right? The moment that you see something like oscuro or maduro, you're like, that's a medium.
That's a medium.
Yeah, you rarely find a maduro that's like light. There is. We're not saying there isn't.
I think there is. I think I smoked one before, but I don't remember it at all.
There is. There's quite a bit actually, but like this is why people say don't take the color as the representation of the strength. But in majority of cases, you can. Right?
Yeah, true.
They're not gonna make a light color cigar that is ultra strong, right? When like for example, when's the last time you find a Dominican Puro that's super strong?
Oh, there's none. Is there?
Is there even a Dominican Oscuro?
I don't know, man. I remember I read something that they say there's a Dominican that's gonna whoop your ass, a Puro. But then that's like way back though. That's like way back when I first started, and they're like, "Oh, this Dominican Puro."
Don't hear about it anymore is probably because he didn't whip anybody's ass.
Was it next to the one piece?
They're like, "Oh, this Dominican Puro is so strong. It's like medium plus." I was like, for a Dominican
medium plus is still not strong though.
It's like I don't know. It was weird. I was like, I think I went out there and I grabbed. I totally forgot what cigar it is, but I grabbed it. I was like, this is not what you guys. What is wrong with these people?
Let's put this in perspective, okay? So Opus X is always Dominican Puro. I think the darkest color they have was just close to a Maduro. Oh, no, it's Maduro.
It's Maduro. It's the Maduro. Yeah.
Yeah, and then the strongest one they have so far smoked is just medium plus.
Yeah, it's maybe medium plus.
Maybe, yeah. Depends how fast you're smoking it.
Yeah, like man. Opus not that strong, and they are like, no matter what people say, oh, it's undisclosed. This for you, Rick. It is a Dominican Puro.
Yeah, there we go. You don't have to ask next time. Our Opus X are somewhat Dominican Puro.
Yep, because they don't mess around with that. They know what works and they're going to keep it like that. And they can keep it undisclosed just for your ass, Rick.
Damn it.
And then we also have to talk about this, okay? There is hybrids.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
So usually when
the definition don't fit.
Usually when they do hybrid is for, what you call those? Durability, right? In my opinion,
to resist disease, bugs, and make it because more easier to grow. They grow better.
They grow faster and stuff like that. So that's my opinion on hybrids. And some hybrids doesn't taste the same as the other ones.
Or it shouldn't. It shouldn't, right? Because they cross-planted with habanos.
Yeah.
Right? But I have to say, I think majority of the hybrids makes it sweeter. Majority. Like the Criollos and stuff like that.
Yeah, the Criollo 98, the Criollo 99 is pretty. Yeah, it is sweet. It is good.
Yeah, it's sweeter. It's sweeter, and it always carry a little bit of pepperiness because they always tend to kind of crossbreed with habano. Yeah, the habano grows really fast, and the bugs don't like it because
bugs don't like to eat them, so it's more resistant to everything.
Right, they're less likely to have disease. They're resistant to sunlight, all kind of stuff. So yeah, when you find you're 90% of the time, you're going to find tobacco listing that lists out the type of hybrid tobacco they have because it changes the characteristic and they want to let you know that it's not what you're expecting.
Yeah, and most of the time when it's like hybrid and then it say hybrid and then you can't read it, like damn.
Yeah. But you can tell, it's got years, almost like a scientific experience thing. Mm-hmm. They put a year when it was invented. What country was invented from, blah blah blah. The only thing that's missing is who is the person that decided that was a good idea.
True.
And a lot of time, I think hybrid tobaccos are cheaper.
Oh yeah, because once you could grow a lot of it, you could produce a lot of it, right?
I think just because they made it so it's easier to grow. So, because it's easier to grow, they tend to it's almost like the real diamond versus the fake diamond stuff.
Oh yeah. So
Right? It's like the real thing. They always gotta be better, harder to grow, so it's more expensive. And the crossover, the hybrid, now it's gotta be a mixture of flavor. It's not pure. It's not the real thing. And now all of a sudden that dropped the price.
Yeah, think about like jewelry. You have gold and you have gold plated. It's
Gold plated is not hybrid. Gold plated is like give the poor man a nice suit.
you know what I mean? It's easier to produce gold plated stuff compared to just having pure gold.
Yeah, like I said, it's like a poor man with a nice suit. You can't make a poor man act like a rich man, even with the suit. You give a rich man a bad suit. That guy still gotta act like $1 million.
yeah. But so when people talk about the Viso and the Seco and the Ligero and the La Vito, it's basically different parts of the plant. When they tell you in the tobacco, like, oh, this is a Viso hybrid with something else, it's just part of the plant. So I just don't want people to get confused. Like, it's a whole new tobacco,
Right. Like I said, the hybrids has the number at the end, the year where the crop from, and they usually tell you that. And the words that you cannot pronounce are usually the where the plant is, so which part of the plant.
Yeah, which part of the plant. And sometimes they go nuts, man.
Right, the one that gets the most sunlight, it's got the most nutrition. It's got to be Ligero. It's got to be the strongest. It's the first crop. You got to be, it's got to knock you on your ass.
Yep, that's when the Ligero is after they pick out the plant from the bottom up and they leave that leaf right there to they mature and just whoop your ass, take all the nutrition, all the pepper, everything on it.
I always feel like Ligero has this innate bitterness to it, but some people say there isn't.
No, they do.
Ligero is bitter to me.
Yeah, but with other combination, it could just be spiced. And strength. Sometimes it's too much strength on the Ligero, man. Like Jesus, like when you smoke your first few puff on it, you're like, oh, definitely Ligero, and you're like, okay, I'm gonna be in it for a long night.
Now, here's the thing, okay? If you gotta choose Ligero, read into the cigar. Make sure that they tell you how long it has been aged.
Because that matters a lot.
The age it is, the easier it is to smoke.
Yeah.
If it's fresh.
If they tell you about 3 years, get ready for a trip.
Right. It's about 3 years to 5 years. You want to let that sit a little bit, unless you really love strength. Some people love strength, and then it's gonna be good.
Yeah.
But if you're like a medium smoker, let that Ligero sit just a little bit, because that's a strong thing. Well, have a big meal. Go buy a cow's ass.
Get some protein inside you, boy.
You gotta get something to withstand that. You need your metabolism to be going, because that thing will caught you by surprise. Nicotine doesn't act immediately. Okay, I think this will be interesting to talk about. At what point can you tell cigar strength?
At what point? Like when it hits you, or when you could tell?
When you can tell. Like, Eric, I mean, we all three of us are reviewers, right? As we smoke the cigar, we'll talk about the strength. At what point can you tell?
I would say quarter way in the first third. Quarter way in, I was like, okay. So like some cigar, like quarter way in, I was like, all right, that's gonna be a doozy of a cigar, because damn, man.
I'll say a third for me.
I could tell the strength from maybe the 10th puff.
So you're like a quarter way in.
Not even quarter way. Not even quarter way.
That's a 10th.
The 10th puff that I get, you will start to feel that feeling. I don't know how to describe it.
I know. Yeah,
it's like
when you
breathing in air that's fresh versus breathing in air that's stale. And then with that staleness, I could tell if that's gonna be strong, or it's gonna be medium, or it's gonna be light. That's how I feel like when I take a puff. When it goes through my nose a few more times, I can feel like the air is coming stale or air coming fresh. When it's fresh, it's light. I'm not gonna feel anything. But when feel stale, feel heavy, then I can tell like, okay, that's at least medium.
Yeah, that happened to me in like a quarter way, and I was like, oh, all right, now like you can literally tell the strength of the cigar. It's gonna, you're gonna have a long night.
Yeah, I think we can all do that, right? Like I think that's something. As beginner, you're not gonna know that. because you're so focused on the flavor. You're not focusing on the feeling of that flavor.
Yeah.
You know, some people say like the smoke's pretty.
It's like it's heavy, right? It's a heavy smoke. Like it's
Like that
dense.
smoke has weight.
Yeah. Yep.
Now, when you put it like that, like when you retro, maybe sometimes after like the 5th to maybe sometimes 6th retro, when you feel that little like it feels like it's a heavy, like even, smoke coming out.
See,
even on your palate.
6. That's why I say 10th. I think by 10th, I'm like, okay, I think this is a little heavy.
There's sometimes like when you
say when you say you're like a quarter of the way,
yeah,
that's being conservative. I feel like when we're smoking it, after a few puffs, after that, I had to go through a retro. If you don't go through a retro, you can't feel it. But if you go through a retro feel,
I could handle quite a bit of strength though. Like when it hit me like fully, it'd be like I say a quarter of the first third. You know, so yeah.
Yeah,
that's
the first 10, 20 puff.
Yes,
you can really feel it.
Basically,
and that's the thing. Like the more you are able to handle the strength, the less you're gonna feel it until you get it.
Yep.
Right. Because for me, I'm very sensitive. I like medium. Anything more than medium, I feel it.
Yeah, Tony is so sensitive. Sometimes I just call him a bitch.
You know, I after a few puffs, like this thing feels heavy. And I can tell right away that's at least a medium. Now from there, I take a few more. If it changes that feeling to even heavier, I know it's medium plus or full.
Yeah.
If it doesn't change, it's medium. If I don't feel anything at all, that's a light. That's a mild.
Yeah.
I think what helps my case is that I'm strictly only cigars, because obviously if people smoke other things than cigars, and obviously their nicotine, the intake is different. With me, since it's strictly only cigars, I don't have. I'm trying to explain in the best way I can. Like, I only go through cigars, so I could feel nicotine in itself since I don't smoke anything else, or I don't have anything else that has like a nicotine impact to me. So since it's purely only cigars, I could kind of feel it maybe around the 6th or 7th, retro, especially if I do it consecutively. Like every other puff, I will do a retro, and if it starts feeling more heavier and heavier with the retros, okay, this is definitely more than a little bit of medium, or this is medium.
I have to somewhat disagree with that, because I can tell you, as a cigarette smoker in the past, we always retrohale. There's not one cigarette smoker that does not retrohale. And because cigarette, you cannot feel nicotine, period. You cannot feel nicotine until you're like 3 boxes in. Okay.
Yeah. Like once you like.
But that's why mines could be iffy, because like I said, I only have experience with cigars.
Well, I have experience with everything, so.
That's what I'm saying. Like anything is heavier. Any cigar is heavier than a cigarette. Cigarette.
Every cigar.
At that point, it feels like fresh air.
Yeah, so, cigarettes are very light. They're not like what you think. They don't pack a punch of like a crazy amount of nicotine at all.
Yeah, and because of that, I think anything is heavier, and I think that makes me more sensitive, because anything that's heavier than tobacco, anything heavier than a cigarette, it's not fresh air, right? So it's heavy, and because the habit of retrohale is so much, it gets there quick. Because the receptor in your nose is going to be way heavier than your mouth.
It just goes straight to your brain, boys. Like,
yeah, it's almost like if you smoke anything more than a median, your head is going to feel like you're looking at a math question. It's not. It doesn't have to be hard. It doesn't have to be solved right there. You just like, I'm looking at one with the like scribbly lines that I don't know what it is.
Yeah,
that's how you gotta feel like at medium.
And like I say, it's always too late when you're sweating. When you're sweating, it's too late.
When it's
too late for you.
When you start to sweat, that's a path of no return. If you don't stop there, half an hour later, the world will start sweating.
Or that little bit of nausea you get sometimes.
No, just the sweating. Your hand is sweaty, boys. You're like, all right, time to fucking go dig my own grave.
Right. Once it's sweating, if you don't stop, the next thing is you gotta feel something in your chest, and the world's gonna spin.
Yeah. Nauseous, everything. You're not gonna feel well, man.
and it's a really annoying nauseous because you never puke from that nauseous yet.
Nope.
Until the next stage. You're sitting there.
That's the next stage.
When's it gonna happen? When's it gonna happen? When's it gonna happen? And they happen. Yeah, don't get to that point. Don't get to that point. Once you feel like you're heating up, slow down.
Yeah, and once you get to that point, there is nothing you could stop it. I don't care the sweetness, the sugar, whatever. Once you could get to that point of you about to just let it out, you ain't stopping that at all.
No. I'm talking. I think that at the point of sweating, if you stop and have something to eat, it could stop you from vomiting.
Yeah.
You still have to get through it. Like you still have to
you still
wait it out.
Yep.
You just won't get to the point where you have to vomit.
Yeah, but when you get to the point that you're about to vomit, there's no return.
Yeah, if you smoke until the point where you're sitting there and you feel like looking at anything bothers you, that's too late. You are going to puke.
You're done. You
just win. Like go drink a lot of water. It's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Right. But like if you stop at the sweating point, you put it down. You're like, okay, I'm done. And find something to drink or find something like you can wait it out.
Yep.
You can wait it out. You still gonna feel like shit, but you can wait it out.
Yeah.
Right. But once you get to after the sweat has stopped, you feel something in your chest. Everything that you see bothers you. Okay. Now either you're sitting in front of a friend that won't stop talking, or you're about to go puke.
Yep.
Oh my God.
That actually was me the other day. I had a timeless, what was it? It was the Supreme. And that's medium plus, but my stomach was kind of empty.
Hey,
so
I smoke with 2 days not eating.
But I'm American, so I'm fat. That's my excuse. So yeah, I kind of had an empty-ish stomach, and someone took me out just to have a cigar, and I had the timeless, and on the ride back home, I started to feel a little bit nauseous. I'm like,
dude,
well, I think it's the
car. Yeah, it's the car ride just make it worse, man.
Yeah, drinks.
Like, I felt it on the walk out, but then when I got in the car, I'm like, this hurts.
Yeah. Okay. Two of the worst things to do when you're smoking a cigar that's not at a level that you want to be is drinking soda and have a car ride. Those two will make it worse.
I had a coffee, espresso.
Soda won't make you burp, and you know what burp is,
it's
right?
gonna make you feel like the chest is holding there, and then your mind's getting there, and you're just gonna get worse.
Yeah,
and a car ride is
everything moves too fast. Everything's moving,
so fast. It's gonna get you dizzy. Yeah, sit down, don't move until you're done. You're good, right? Before you do anything else, because once you get there, once it catches you,
sitting still is the key too. You just sit there, you just relax.
And when I say sitting still, don't lean back.
Yeah, because that give you another ride, boy.
Once you lean back, you gotta feel the earth. Do not lean back. Just sit. Put your hands somewhere so that you stay still. And like lean.
And then don't try to close your eyes or anything. Just be focused. Just not. Don't let your body. Don't let your souls leave your body.
Grab it back slowly. Come back.
Yeah, don't astral project. Try to keep within.
I think everybody, like, I don't care how good of a smoker you are, it catches you sometimes. I don't care who you are.
So, dude, I get cocky sometimes, and there's some cigar that just lay me on my ass, boy. And we smoke every day. We smoke strong cigar, light cigar, medium cigar, whatever cigar. And sometimes it just fucking shit, man. It's like your body is not today, boys, not today. You better hang on to your balls.
Right? Yeah.
Yep.
It will catch you. I don't care how long you've been smoking. You're gonna be like, okay, this cigar is not bad, and all of a sudden it catches you. All of a sudden you're smoking. Okay, that heaviness just kicked in right there.
Yeah, it's like, oh,
what happened? And then you're like, okay, I can still handle. And then you start to sweat. I was like, oh shit.
No. And guess what? And when your friend hand you a drink while you're on that, don't take it.
Yeah. I think the worst culprits are usually Solomon's. That kind of cigar, Solomon.
Yeah, like a taper to like a bigger ring gauge, and then taper down, because the smoke output, the smoke input that you take, it changes with those shape. So and especially with taper foot, it's more concentrated when you take the smoke, right?
Yeah. So, Solomon is the worst. And the next one is a plug cigar. Any cigar that's plugged.
Oh my God.
Will make you sick faster.
Yeah, because you're trying to draw so hard, your cheekbone be hurting. You're like, why am I sick and my cheek is hurting?
Yeah, you're breathing in tobacco. Like literally trying to get a puff. So if you get a plug cigar, either try to unplug it or put it down, because I can't stand because I got sick so many times from plug cigar. Every time I get a plug cigar, I massage it and pull the stem out. I don't care.
Tony gets sick so much that every cigar is a plug for him now.
Yeah. If anything doesn't have 95 psi of air going through.
No, if anything that don't have a Davidoff perfect draw, he's pulling out trees, boys.
Hey, even Davidoff, I pull
Even
out
Davidoff fell on him.
Yeah. If it's anything that doesn't have like a normal breathing draw, it's not good. It's not good because I don't want to get sick. So I'd be very careful. Like, okay, I'm looking for the stem, and I always find one. So
which is it amazed me. Like there's some cigar that I smoke and Tony smoke, and he'd be pulling out trees, and I'd be like, "Yo, what the hell are you like? The straw is pretty good." He's like, "Not for me. I'm taking this whole shit out."
Well, I prove it, right? I pull out every time. You can see it. It's big. It doesn't burn. It's just there. It's like it's like
hey, it adds flavors.
Whoever say that? Oh my god! It does not add flavor. That's like saying that I don't know. Let me give you an example.
That's that charred barbecue taste. What do you mean?
Did you ever just go to Home Depot?
Soda. It's like get a cup of soda and you put a straw in there. It adds flavor.
Oh shit! Oh my god! Burning stem are literally like you go to Home Depot and you try to lit up a cedar from there, a fake cedar from there, and you're like, oh, it tastes great.
Yeah, I know that manufacturer obviously had to find an excuse for that kind of stuff, and I understand that it's technically not called a stem; it's called a vein. But that thing still doesn't burn. I don't care what you call it.
It's a small stem. Jesus, all right.
Right? Does that help with the structure? Yes, it helps with the structure so much I can't take a draw.
It does help, right? I think there certain amount of stem or the size of the stem matter for the structure. But once you get like a big old thick vein, like come on, man, like really, do you really need that?
Okay. So here's the thing, right? If I pull out a vein that doesn't have any branches coming out of it, I would say that vein is not big. It's totally fine to be there. But if I pull out something that has multiple branches that look like a freaking tree that leaves, that has like family history of each little branch, that's a freaking tree.
That thing is huge.
There.
It's huge. Once you see it branching out.
Every time I pull one out, that's got it's like, hey, I'm the grandfather of this branch. I'm the grandson of that root right there. It's like 53 and me when I pull it out.
You could use S2E8.com.
You could use that as a fan. You know what I'm saying? That's how much fucking leaf and stem and everything that come.
Well, take that, put it in the ground, and make a new cigar.
Dude, it's this thing to Bear Grylls. He'll probably save the world with that thing. Okay?
Dude, that's like a whole nother plant. You know what I mean? When it's stem that big, it's like a whole nother plant, man. Damn.
And I understand once you pull it, it's not gonna be structurally the same way. But cigars, once you roll it together in your stick, they're not gonna really fall apart.
Yeah.
You already twist it. Have you tried like a Chinese finger trap? You put 2 fingers in there, it's not gonna really bend. Man, come on, man. Once the center is not hollow, it's not moving anywhere, right? If you can have a cigar that is, if you have a cigar that has binder, and then you still need the branch in there to keep the structure, then what is the point to have a binder?
The binder already the binder is already veiny. Tell the truth, right? The binder is not a pretty leaf; it's already veiny as hell.
Yeah. So why do you need anything else in there to hold structure? The binder is supposed to be there to hold the structure.
It's just another excuse for some
right in the center of that thing, pull it out like Excalibur. When am I gonna go to save the world?
And then all of a sudden now you have a tunnel.
I'd rather have a tunnel than a cigar I can't smoke.
It's for some freaking stupid guy that fucking manufacture and or work at a fucking shop and be like, yeah, that adds flavor. Shut the fuck up. Don't talk to me.
It's false, but I know you have to kind of explain it. Just say, I'm sorry. There are man-made materials. Sometimes we
don't try to defend it. Like you literally have a whole branch in there and you try to defend it. It's like, come on.
And to their defense, sometimes if you're rolling a cigar, you're seeing so many bigger stems that some other stem looks a lot smaller to you. Mm-hmm. Because when you see some big ass stems. You know, it literally looks like my finger thickness. You know?
Well, you know,
everything else that looks small.
Don't you know when you roll a cigar, they feel with the hand, right? When they snap it, once you hear that twig snap, boy, you need to go back in there, take that out, man. Like, damn.
I don't even think it's snap. They like snap, and then the bank's still there. You just hold them, like they have to twist it a little bit.
Yeah, they have to they're like, oh, freaking put it right here.
They can't do it, and then just pull out the leaf off of it, and leave that little stem out, so that in the end they can try to pull it out. And then what happens usually when they pull it, it breaks. They're like, okay, instead of being there.
Oh my god, man! Like I don't understand.
That's just what it is. But I think that would be another topic about cigar structure and stuff.
I actually have one thing we didn't mention.
What's the thing we didn't mention?
This was a tobacco that was popular back in the early 1900s. Some go old school. Candela.
Candela is a color, not
it's a color. It's not tobacco, man. Tell me what kind of tobacco it is.
Something else.
Huh? What's Candela? What tobacco is it?
You're gonna have.
What region is Candela from?
You're gonna have rookies probably commenting. Didn't mention Candela. I'm just gonna say
Candela's a color.
At least you mentioned it. At least we talked about it.
It's green, boys. It's green. It's under fermented. Okay,
that's green.
No,
it tastes
it's
like green.
actually not under fermented. Let's get. It's actually a specific fast fermenting process.
No, I'm just joking.
All right. So let's put it out there. It's a color. It's through a fasting, a really different back in the day fermenting process. Not many people make it because it doesn't really taste good. All right. You really have to have the nuance to enjoy it.
It's actually harder to ferment that kind of tobacco.
It's very hard because you got to do it before it change color.
Yep.
Yeah. So, and they had to cure it before it change color. So it's actually not an easy thing to do. They're usually more expensive, and it takes a specific kind of smoker to nuance it to really enjoy it. It's not something that everybody can enjoy. So, just save that for St. Patty's Day and do nothing else with that.
Yep. Just St. Patty is your best day to smoke that cigar.
That's the only day why people buy it, because it's green.
That's why we great detail about everything. So I just want to throw that in there, just for people to say, "Oh, at least we mentioned it."
Hey, you know,
I knew that's the one you're gonna say. That's why it's like, what is it, asshole? I knew you're gonna pick that one.
I'm telling you that Candela, St. Patty's. I feel like we all cigar reviewers united because we all smoke that green cigar.
There's only so many companies that makes that, and we all know they all kind of There's a reason why they don't make it all year.
You see them rolling out on St. Patty's days.
Yeah, I mean that's why. That's the only time people are willing to spend that kind of money to buy it. You know, those cigars are not $8 cigars.
No, they're not, man. Crap.
Okay, so yeah, it is what it is. So that will be it for today. It's an hour mark. I hope everybody enjoyed that topic. I think we will probably find another day to talk about the shade. We kind of touched upon the shade.
We did. We kind of touched it. Yeah.
And we can talk about the part of the plant, of the tobacco plant.
Yeah, we touched on that a little bit too.
Yeah, so we can go in depth next time. But for now, that's for the regions for you guys. And hopefully that information is going to help you pick out some cigars that you might see differently. Now, all the cigar tobacco, you gotta get some sort of earthiness. That's because it's the earth. But hopefully, all the other notes is gonna help you out to pick out the better tobacco for you. You know, but in the end, you should try all of them. It's not that you shouldn't. It's just that it help you to decide whether or not that cigar might be something that you enjoy.
Yeah, right? It's your palate. Explore it.
Yeah. Okay. So we'll see you guys next week. That will be it. Bye, guys.
Peace.
Peace.
You've been listening to the In the Shadows podcast. There's nothing like a fine cigar, and that's our passion. And on the show, we'll talk about everything and anything cigars. And you know what happens when you get a bunch of guys together smoking cigars. The conversations go on. And that is what this show is all about. We hope you've enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to like, rate, and review. Remember, everything you need is on YouTube at Soy Sauce Assassin. The live show is every Wednesday and Saturday at 9 p.m. Eastern. And get cigar reviews. Wishing you long ashes. We'll see you next time on In the Shadows podcast.